If you've ever searched a stock on Yahoo Finance and felt overwhelmed by all the numbers on the screen, you're not alone. Prices, percentages, charts, volumes, earnings, dividends, it can look confusing at first. In this video, I'm going to show you how to read a Yahoo Finance stock quote page step by step, using a real company as an example. By the end of this video, you'll understand what each number means, which ones actually matter, and how to use this page confidently as an investor. Let's start from the beginning. To get to this page, you simply go to Yahoo Finance, and in the search bar at the top, you type the name of the company or its ticker symbol. In this example, I searched for McDonald's and selected McDonald's Corporation, ticker symbol MCD. Once you click on the company, Yahoo Finance automatically takes you to the summary page, which is the main stock quote page. This page gives you a complete snapshot of the stock, price, performance, valuation, and key financial information all in one place. Now let's walk through everything we see on the screen. At the very top, we see the company name, McDonald's Corporation, followed by the ticker symbol MCD. Just above that, Yahoo shows that the stock is traded on the New York Stock Exchange. The price is shown in US dollars, and the data is real-time. Right below the company name, the large bold number 323.69 is the stock's closing price for the regular trading session. Next to it, we see plus 4.21 and plus 1.32%, which means the stock went up by $4.21 today, or 1.32% compared to yesterday's closing price. Under that, Yahoo confirms the timing by showing at close 4 p.m. EST, which tells us this is the official price at the end of the regular market session. To the right of that, we see another price, $324.68, along with a smaller gain of 99 cents or 0.31%. This is the overnight or after-hours price, which reflects trading that happens outside normal market hours. These overnight prices can move on lower volume, so long-term investors usually don't overreact to them. Just below, we see the price chart, which by default is set to 1 day, meaning it shows how the stock moved throughout today's trading session. The green line represents the stock price changing during the day, and the shaded area underneath simply helps visualize the movement. Above the chart, you can switch between different time frames like 5 days, 1 month, 1 year, or even the entire history of the stock. For long-term investors, longer time frames like 1 year or 5 years are usually more meaningful than the 1-day view. You'll also notice a toggle called Key Events, which when turned on highlights important events like earnings announcements or dividends directly on the chart. This helps explain why a stock may have jumped or dropped on certain dates. Just above the chart, you'll also notice 2 important controls, Mountain and Advanced Chart. The Mountain button controls the chart style. By default, Yahoo Finance shows what's called a mountain chart, which is essentially a line chart with the area underneath filled in. It's great for quickly seeing the overall direction of the stock during the day. If I click on Mountain, I can switch between different chart types, line, candlestick, baseline, or bar charts. Candlestick charts are especially useful for traders because they show the open, high, low, and close for each time period. Line and mountain charts are better for long-term investors who just want a clean view of price trends without too much detail. So this menu lets you customize how much information you want to see depending on whether you're investing or actively trading. Right next to that is Advanced Chart. When you click Advanced Chart, Yahoo Finance opens a much more powerful charting interface. This gives you access to technical indicators like moving averages, RSI, MACD, volume overlays, drawing tools, and multiple time frames, similar to what you'd see on professional charting platforms. For most beginners, the default chart is enough, but once you start learning technical analysis, the advanced chart becomes very useful. Below the chart, Yahoo reminds us that the chart does not reflect overnight prices, which is important to keep in mind when comparing prices. Next, we move down to the news section, where Yahoo summarizes the latest headlines related to McDonald's. In this example, the headline mentions shareholder returns, dividend announcements, and earnings expectations. This gives investors quick context about what's driving attention around the stock right now. Below that, we see a table of key trading and financial statistics. The previous close shows yesterday's final price, which in this case was $319.48. The open price, $321.11, tells us where the stock started trading when the market opened today. Right below the open price, we see bid and ask, which are especially important for understanding how trading actually works. The bid price, shown here as $323.58, is the highest price someone in the market is currently willing to pay for the stock. The number next to it, like X 20,000, tells us how many shares buyers are willing to purchase at that price. The ask price, shown as $323.29, is the lowest price a seller is currently willing to accept. Again, the number beside it shows how many shares are being offered for sale at that price. The small difference between the bid and the ask is called the bid-ask spread. A tight spread usually means the stock is very liquid, with lots of buyers and sellers, which is exactly what we expect from a large, heavily traded company like McDonald's. For long-term investors, bid and ask aren't usually a big concern, but for active traders, they matter because they affect the price you actually get when placing an order. The days range from $319.70 to $326.94, shows the lowest and highest prices the stock traded at during the day. This helps you understand how volatile the stock was today. The 52-week range from $283.47 to $326.95 shows the lowest and highest prices over the last year, giving you a sense of where the stock currently sits relative to its recent history. The volume number tells us how many shares were traded today, while average volume shows the typical daily trading activity. Comparing these two helps you see whether today's trading was normal or unusually active. The market cap, shown here as about $231 billion, represents the total value of all McDonald's shares combined. This tells us McDonald's is a large cap company, generally considered more stable than smaller companies. The beta, listed as 0.53, measures how volatile the stock is compared to the overall market. A beta below 1 means the stock tends to move less than the market, which fits a mature defensive company like McDonald's. Next, we see the PE ratio, which is about 27, showing how much investors are paying for each dollar of earnings. The EPS, or earnings per share, shows how much profit the company generated per share over the last 12 months. On the right side, we see the earnings date, which tells us when the company is expected to report its next earnings results. This is important because stock prices often move significantly around earnings announcements. The forward dividend and yield tells us how much McDonald's plans to pay in dividends and what percentage yield that represents at the current price. The ex-dividend date tells investors the deadline for owning the stock in order to receive the next dividend payment. Finally, the one-year target estimate shows the average price target from Wall Street analysts, giving a general sense of where the analysts believe the stock could trade over the next year.
Now let's scroll down to one of the most useful sections on the entire Yahoo Finance quote page: earnings trends and analyst insights. This is where fundamentals, expectations, and Wall Street opinions all come together. Starting on the left, we see earnings per share, often called EPS. This chart shows how McDonald's actual earnings compared to expectations over recent quarters. At the top, you'll notice two options: GAAP and normalized. GAAP earnings follow strict accounting rules, while normalized earnings adjust for one-time events. Many analysts prefer normalized earnings because they better reflect ongoing business performance. Each dot on this chart represents a quarter. Green dots mean McDonald's beat expectations, while red dots mean it missed expectations. For example, here we can see that in Q2 fiscal year 2025, McDonald's beat estimates by about 4 cents. In other quarters, like Q1 and Q3, the company missed expectations slightly. This matters because earnings surprises often move stock prices, especially short-term. On the far right, we see the upcoming quarter estimate.
which is shown as a projected value rather than an actual result. This tells investors what the market is currently expecting for the next earnings report. Moving to the right side, we have revenue versus earnings. This chart compares how much money the company brings in, revenue, versus how much it actually keeps as profit. The blue bars represent revenue, and the yellow bars represent earnings. You'll notice revenue has been steadily growing over recent quarters, while earnings are also trending higher. This combination is generally a healthy sign because it shows that the company is growing sales and maintaining profitability. You can toggle between annual and quarterly views, which is helpful depending on whether you're a long-term investor or focused on short-term performance. Now let's drop down into Analyst Insights, which shows how professional analysts currently view the stock. On the left, we see top analyst coverage. Here, Yahoo Finance highlights a major firm, in this case, JP Morgan, along with a confidence score and their most recent rating. An overweight rating typically means the analyst expects the stock to outperform others in its sector. Next to that is analyst price targets. This shows the range of where analysts believe the stock could trade over the next year. You'll see a low estimate, a high estimate, and an average target. The current stock price is shown here for comparison, so you can immediately see whether the analysts believe the stock is undervalued or already priced near their expectations. To the right of that is analyst recommendations. This bar chart shows how many analysts currently rate the stock as a strong buy, hold, underperform, or sell. It also shows how these opinions have changed over recent months. If you see a large number of buy or strong buy ratings, that indicates bullish sentiment. A rising number of hold or sell ratings can signal growing caution. Finally, on the far right, we see the latest rating update. This shows the most recent analyst action, who issued it, when it happened, whether they maintained or changed their rating, and whether they adjusted their price target. This section is especially useful for tracking new information because fresh analyst updates often move stocks in the short term. This single page already gives you a powerful overview of a stock: price action, valuation, income, risk, and market expectations, all in one place.
Let's look at the other tabs. Once you click the News tab, it shows you all relevant news about the McDonald's company. For advanced charting, you can click the Chart tab to access a powerful charting interface. This gives you access to different chart types, comparisons, and technical indicators such as moving averages, RSI, MACD, Bollinger Bands, and many more. You can also draw lines on the chart the way you want. The small gear icon lets you edit chart preferences and adjust the axis scale. The Community tab lets you read comments from other users and also type in your own comments about the company if you like. On the Statistics tab, you see the company's current and historical valuation measures, such as market cap, enterprise value, price to book, price to sales, and many more. To get the financial highlights, you can scroll down to see the company's financial numbers and ratios, including profitability and management effectiveness ratios, along with key financial statement numbers. On the right-hand side, you'll see trading information, share statistics, and dividend information. This section is very useful if you want to get a feel for the company's financial health. Investors often use this information for valuation purposes or to make an initial decision about whether to invest in the company. On the Historical Data tab, you get the company's share price history. You can adjust the date range to view price information based on your needs. The default setting is daily prices, but you can change it to weekly or monthly. In the past, Yahoo Finance allowed you to download this data as an Excel file. That feature is now available on a paid basis. However, you can still copy the data and paste it into an Excel file. On the Profile tab, you'll see McDonald's key executives and their compensation information if you scroll to the right. You'll also see which sector and industry McDonald's belongs to.
Below that, you'll find a short description of the company, corporate governance information, upcoming events, and key filings. On the Financials tab, you can view the company's historical financial statements, including the income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. These statements are available on both an annual and quarterly basis. On the Analysis tab, you'll find information on whether the company missed or beat analyst expectations. This information also appears on the Summary tab that we discussed earlier. As you can see, red dots indicate missed estimates, while green dots indicate beats. Generally, missing EPS estimates can lead to a drop in share price, while beating estimates often supports higher prices. You can also see revenue and earnings estimates displayed in bar charts for easier reading. Scroll down to explore earnings estimates, the number of analysts covering the company, revenue estimates, earnings history, EPS trends, EPS revisions, and growth estimates. All of this information is valuable for investors making investment decisions. On the Options tab, you'll see the options chain for both call and put options on McDonald's stock. These are derivative contracts, and because the risk and potential returns are higher, they are typically used by more advanced investors. It's not advisable to trade options unless you understand how these contracts work and how their prices change. On the Holders tab, you'll find information about the company's major shareholders, including top institutional and mutual fund holders. For example, institutions hold about 75.14% of McDonald's shares. Among them, Vanguard Group holds approximately 72.35 million shares, which represents about 10.16% ownership of McDonald's Corporation. And that's how to read a Yahoo Finance stock quote page, from price action and volume to earnings, analyst expectations, and market sentiment. Once you understand how each section fits together, you're no longer guessing, you're making informed decisions based on real data. If this breakdown helped you see stock quotes more clearly, give the video a like and subscribe for more step-by-step investing and market education. And let me know in the comments which part of the Yahoo Finance page you found most useful or most confusing. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.